What is going on, guys? We are back for another DSP video, and the midlife crisis continues. He's losing his damn mind at a rate I've never seen before. But first, I found this funny. Do you guys notice anything on the screen there? Because this shows you how bad DSP or his editors are at titling things, but it's also the most honest thing on all of DSP's channels. You notice this video here, he's talking about machinima, the greatest business failure in YouTube history. Now let's take that thumbnail off, and then on DSP's own video, he tells the truth about everything. DSP reacts, the greatest business failure in YouTube. Then it looks like DSP has spent more money in WWE Champions. However, he dropped from first place to second place. You better start stepping up, Ryan. He needs that first place, he really does. And that son of a bitch, the pie guy, overtook him. Don't you know Phil's just a small guy? He's a crowd-funded individual. And it's really funny too, because right under him is Rocky. Doesn't he have a whale named Rocky? Then people were talking about this, so I just put this out. An addiction can only get worse unless there's an intervention. DSP has enablers, so expect his addiction to ramp up to the remaining year and beyond. Potentially using his bill money to keep chasing that high when he gets desensitized to his current level of addiction. Then we have CE here, who's been doing a lot of detractor coat of arms, if you will, almost Game of Thrones-esque. And guess what, guys? He did one for us. So we have day 5, number 2. A maroon saltire, the color of an outrun song. A cold blue field, the color of a near frozen lake. A white hot fire burns, but is kept in check. A frame as black as newspaper ink holds firm. Words, safety, health, happiness, house moment led by Dashfire. And there you have it, guys, our brand new house banner for house moments. Then ladies and gentlemen, another pre-stream, another intro. Here we go, Gout. Another new intro, I just don't understand. Ignore the beginning music. Of course, that was music from Raw Phil, who mutes Phil's own music and puts on the classical, robust style music, dudes. Then we open up the Mother's Day edition of the Level 1 pre-stream. And DSP has said he wants to replay Lost Odyssey. It's on his bucket list. Imagine how sad that is, that you want to replay a game as part of your bucket list. Then the subject of Mother's Day came up, and he said him and Kat are not really human parents, then proclaimed himself a kitty parent. Then DSP said he mailed his mother something and hopes the postal service gets it to her on time. Now it's very weird that he's physically mailing something, it's probably a card, but he's physically mailing something. The man that lives on Amazon is always ordering stuff, because what you can do is you can use the billing address and the ship address as two different addresses, so he could bill it to himself and then ship it to her address. But that would be too much work, dude. And you know what people said when he said he mailed something to his mother? Then we have Chris here. I wonder what it could be, and a gif of a spinning spoon. Then we have Busty Loads, nice name. Eat it! Yeah, this is what you get, Mom, for not buying me the Wolverine doll. Then the topic of vaccines came up, and DSP doesn't remember if he's triple or double vaxxed. Then he had more dreams. So remember his famous dream back in November 2022, when he proclaimed he had a dream of how he's going to take the power back from the trolls. Now he's going to have an interview and clear the air and turn everything around so that no troll can mess with him. Of course, that dream led to the Side Scrollers interview, and we all know how that went. So DSP now says that when he sleeps, he sometimes has nice dreams about his wife and being on vacation with her. Of course, his wife in the dream is in the body of John Rambo. Then we get to the meat of the podcast. If this is not a mental breakdown and a midlife crisis all in one, I don't know what is. We have Gout. This podcast of DSP is not understanding how review copies work, and it's unfair people get copies early because it ruins DSP's business. Yeah, he went on this whole thing because I believe Marvel Rivals, which is like an Overwatch skinned Marvel game, had an NDA and stipulations for people to be in the closed beta, I believe it is, or alpha or something like that. And DSP went off, "See, I was right, they're all shills, blah blah blah." And he decided to make this whole segment him sniffing his own farts and him not knowing how a business works. And well, we'll get into all of that. We got poems, another long ramble over people are shills and I have integrity. Nobody cares, Phil. People are aware that if you're given something early, there's going to be stipulations involved. Then he went on to say how he can't have opportunities because the trolls and all the people that harass him. DSP this morning, I've lost every opportunity I've had due to the trolling against me. DSP tonight, when will these people learn what they do never affects me? Then he was talking about how nobody should be getting any early copies, there should be no previews, everyone should just buy it on day one. Now me personally, I do see some shilling out there. It's not everyone, but at the same time, I don't want to spend like $90 on a game and it lasts like 3 hours, or it's a broken mess. I want to know that ahead of time. Of course, DSP, what he wants is nobody gets it early, so he thinks if no one gets it early, he plays it day one, everyone's going to flock to see him play it. And he's going to get those day one views, dude. But the truth matter is nobody cares what you do, Phil. Nobody cares about you playing a game. They come for the salt, the anger, the delusion. So we have this from me. DSP is now telling people not to buy games on launch and just watch someone stream it. Then make your choice to buy it. I wonder who Phil wants you to watch on launch day. Yeah, he was going on about how don't buy it day one, wait a week, maybe even a month. Phil, do you realize if a good game comes out and no one buys it within that first month, do you understand how much that's going to hurt the game, Phil? Of course you don't. You're just a big brain with a business degree. And also keep in mind too, whenever he has a chance to play a game on day one, if it comes out on his day off, he doesn't change the schedule. He waits 1 or 2 days after the buzz is down. Sometimes he even pays extra to play it early, then doesn't play it early, then complains no one's watching it. MK1, I'm talking to you. Starfield. I believe he did with Hogwarts too. Remember, DSP had a sponsored Assassin's Creed stream. He also ranted about Twitch take away game opportunities from him because companies complained about him being toxic, and claimed he was blacklisted from all future opportunities. We got bread and sausage. Oh, so now Phil is flabbergasted and outraged that the industry works in the following way. If you play my game, then I pay you. Yes, Phil, this is how reality and markets work. People pay you for a service, just like you pay for products. What confuses you? How is this your job? Then he also goes on to say, DSP literal quote, and by the way, no one complained about the amount of videos I uploaded one day back then. People like the fact that I uploaded 30, 40, 50, 60 in a day sometimes. Ladies and gents, we've reached peak history rewriting. The polar opposite holds truth. Yeah, no one wanted 60 videos in a day flooding their inboxes. Then his rant got so heated, he brought out the Sonic hat and ranted about people making fun of him for it. So we have poems. You yourself called the hat stupid. You yourself have refused to wear it. You yourself have yelled at people for asking for it. You yourself said you don't like wearing it because people make fun of you. It's only when money is attached to it you care again.
This Sonic hat right here, which of course has become some big thing in detractor communities because they're all mentally challenged. They think that wearing a silly Sonic hat is something to be made fun of or something. They're moronic. This cool Sonic hat was a pre-order for Sonic Generations. All you had to do was pre-order Sonic Generations at GameStop, and if you were, I think, one of the first, like, 30 people or something to pick it up at the store, you get the Sonic hat for free. Things like that all the time back in the day for pre-ordering. You know, a little incentive that you would get.
I like to point out that he said it's disrespectful that we call his fans dense, but he calls us mentally challenged. I'm just going to throw that out there. He then went all over the place, off the rails. He couldn't contain himself today. So he went into how he's persecuted for his Roman Catholic views.
And that's the era that I came from. That's the early era of gaming on YouTube. That's how I was prominent, by being the hardest worker in that time frame, in that era. And then that all went away, and people say he didn't evolve. No, it's not I didn't evolve, it's that I didn't want to become a fucking shill. I didn't want to be dishonest. I wanted to be true to myself and not hate myself in the morning. Who cares if you're surrounded by wealth if you fucking can't live with yourself? And I guess that's a problem, is that I grew up with morality, that I had this moral code instilled in me growing up as a Catholic. And like to this day, I still have it. Like I could not sit here and lie to you about a game. I just can't do it at all. I can't fucking do it. It would kill me. It would actually bother me the entire time. At night, I would be able to fucking sleep. You know?
Then he went on a rant about Toby Turner, how he was in a Madden campaign across all media, including YouTube, and he said it was morally wrong for Toby to do that. He never played a sports game, and he was just doing for the money. So he went to YouTube and told them this is not right. He's being a shill, he's doing this, he's doing that. When in fact, when it originally happened, 11 years ago, DSP ranted and raved in video, so there is recorded video of this, of saying how he didn't like it, and he complained about it, because Toby Turner is his competition, and they were advertising on his videos. Jealousy at its peak. And then he got angrier and angrier, and he started calling people who got early copies of games special snowflakes. That is right, the man who for 2 years off and on ranted about an oversauced chicken burger is calling other people special snowflakes. Then he went on to say that no one got games early back in the day other than journalists. Yes, they did, Phil. Even you. Of course, when he was with Machinima, they would send him stuff all the time. They would offer him stuff. I believe Fallout 4 he got early. He got a free copy of Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. He even changed his regional area on PlayStation so he could download Dark Souls 3 early, and in his words, and this is on video as well, so you could get day one views before everyone else. And then also, again, in a recorded video, he talked about how him and Howard played a pirated version of one of the Street Fighter games before Street release so he could get the advantage on everyone else. And then of course, you know where this is going. He talks about corruption, he talks about shills. So of course, it turns out how Cannon Brothers blocked him from his forums and they were corrupt, and he was a whistleblower and calling them out. It always goes back to the Cannon Brothers. And I put this out as well. DSP ranting about people getting games early, and it starts off by saying how everyone was on equal ground before it, and how he would get a day one boost. Then he went and talked about how people who pay for early access and people who pay for digital deluxe stuff are weak-minded and they need to stop. Despite him buying the early copy of Hogwarts, MK1, Starfield, which by the way was on Game Pass, but he paid extra just to get it early. He also bought the deluxe edition of Street Fighter 6 twice on different platforms, even though it's a cross-platform game. And 2 battle passes, by the way. DSP. People who pre-order things are stupid. Also DSP. Look at all this cool shit I got for pre-ordering. I have In Another Place, and we're straight from how Phil doesn't sell out on early access, being he has to speak out the truth on how the FGC suppressed him about rollback netcode. This is truly pathetic. Just move on and stop the pity party. And then Phil kept saying how, oh, all these people go to these conventions and these meetups and they kiss each other's butt, and how they get all these special opportunities but he never gets them because he's a small guy and he speaks the truth. Well, we have Mr. Stuff. Reminder, Phil was flown out for E3 back when it was private for an event hosted by Machinima for Hawken, which is a mobile game. Phil then refused to show up to the event because he was tired. Phil was then confused when Machinima stopped helping him to get into any gaming event or deals. Then we have this from Poems. DSP could say the video game industry if you damn dirty trolls didn't take away his voice. It's up to Moist now. Yeah, he went on to name drop Moist Critical and how he has to speak up and get these shills to stop playing games early.
But Akoko says the gaming industry is going to die, there's nothing we can do. I disagree. The problem is you have to see a collective change shift focus of consumers, and that's the problem, is that they're not doing it. We're consumers focused on what's popular. Instead of being smart and listening to the things that people are talking about in the industry that are bad, they're just focusing on what's popular. So they have no problem with being advertised to every day, despite the fact the stream says hashtag ad on it. They'll still watch it because it has an insane amount of views going on. They're ignorant. It's ignorance is causing the industry's downfall. That's what's going on. Greed of the corporations in charge, and greed of the content creators who take the bag, and ignorance of the common gamer and consumer. That's the reason. Now, how on earth do we stop that? That I can't answer you. I don't have reach or clout. I don't have reach or clout. I could sit here and say this stuff, and at least I'm reaching a few hundred people. Right now, I'm reaching 300 people, but I can't make anyone listen, nor can I make anyone talk about this outside of my stream. You know, it's up to you guys to go out there and tell your friends, tell your fellow gamers about what's going on. Say, this is bad, this needs to stop, this is ruining the industry. This is a horrible thing that needs an attitude that needs to change. But that's the problem is, I reach 300 people on the show, right? A few thousand on demand, because I get like probably about between 500 to 1,000 on-demand viewers, and then my echo chamber of idiotic trolls. So, you know, I'll reach a few thousand people each show, but that's not enough to change the fucking industry. Back in the day, I literally could do things that got enough popularity on YouTube that everyone in the industry talked about it. Take a look at my video about, you know, SOPA, PIPA, and S.978, whatever the fuck those laws were, getting hundreds of thousands of views, and everyone's now abuzz about those topics. But that was taken away from me over the years. Through the ridicule, the derision, and making me the running joke and meme of the internet, you took away my power to speak to truths like this. Awful things happening in the industry. No one pays attention to me. You know what? You get a big YouTuber like fucking Moist Critical to talk about this, then you'll get some clout. Then maybe you'll get some traction. Then maybe people will actually care. But does Moist care about this shit? I don't know. Does Moist take these promotions? I don't know. I have no clue. I don't know. I really don't know anything about the guy. But he would be like the prominent guy. Guys of his stature starting to talk about shit like this, they could get actually things to change. But they would actually need to speak up. I'm sure Moist gets these offers constantly from these companies, you know?
Hey, so first off, I hate how he says the word moist. Makes me want to throw up. Second of all those things you talk about for the videos, everybody was talking about them. It was a big thing at the time. Then we have the Ziggy Piggy. He also was asked by a game developer if he had any questions about a game he was playing the demo of. He walked away and mocked the developer with Rambo. Could have been some good content. I think it was Skullgirls. Then DSP went on to defend buying 2 special editions of Street Fighter 6. He said he planned on playing with both console versions even though it was cross-platform. DSP then went on to say he got early editions of games last year and said they are not worth it unless there's statues. Then DSP went to shit on anyone that network because, you know, anybody with a business degree would know you network to meet people, have opportunities, blah blah blah. But Phil is Phil. Big Brain Burnell, who has a business degree, doesn't understand why people go to events and network with other people. And In and Outer Place points this out near the end. He's run out of steam on his rant. There's no contribution so far. Dead air, Q&A, and begging. Immediately becomes a huge hardcore beg because he's not a shill. Yeah guys, I'm not a shill, but I'll beg for money every day. Please guys, I need grocery money. Guys, I need supply money. The best part is I'm working on a video right now, which you guys will see on Thursday, on my Dashfire the content curator channel. He was begging for Christmas meal food money and liquor money during his Christmas event. Then we get to DSP versus the internet. We have Otter here. I can't watch DSP versus the internet as I can't feel my brain cells after 2 seconds of it, so if anyone's brave enough to endure it, Godspeed. Then we got Chill Murray, who shows a screenshot of his chat. Laugh my fucking ass off. I better see some good gold dust today. And we have Eddie. Scan complete. Detractor levels are reading 0. LARPer levels, normal. We're good to go. Then we have Tony. DSP reacts an entire chat full of pedophiles. We have Sewer Rat, dead chat. And then the Argentina brothers and sisters were in full effect. Of course, everyone knows by now, DSP spent over $2,000 in a single event on WWE Champions. And we have this from JG Win, who shows off a screenshot of 50 gifted DSP Reacts memberships. Phil spent $2,000 on WWE Champion dead money. Now keep this in mind because he also does this during the React event, which is the domino effect for something else. Then we have this from Duty. At that being said, I think this was on your list of LARPer questions.
The end of the stream. So what's going on? Demon in the corner, no. I never had any adverse affection or any side effects from a vaccine. Despite what you're saying there, no. My wife and I both were, triple vaxxed back when the COVID vaccine was popular. And, or double vaxxed. I don't even know if it was double or triple. I think it was triple. And, we never, no, we didn't have any side effects from it. Besides feeling a little ill when we first got it. That was it. So there you go. And, okay. Joe Man, thank you. 15 months as a member of the channel. I appreciate that, Joe Man. Let me go ahead and just stretch my legs. And then we will continue, okay?
Then DSP watches a video about serial killers. And says, why don't we put all the criminals on an island by itself? Why hasn't anyone thought of that? Then the viewer points out that's how Australia was founded. DSP says, oh, that's how Australia started? Then DSP decides to talk about GMO and organic foods and all that stuff. Because he's always said, organic food is a myth. They don't exist. It's a scam. So he went full in, agreeing and disagreeing with the video, because he knows better than the actual scientist. YouTube scientist Philip P. Burnell decides to school the nuts of the internet on GMO foods and create some new fans along the way with his stunning response.
What? This is funny. So I just got a $1.55 tip from someone. He says their name is Mr. Crash Bandicoot. I'm just going to read this. Phil, I sometimes often wonder, do you ask for it sometimes? That take you had in organic food yesterday, spelled incorrectly, has caused outrage between your fans, spelled Y-O-U''RE, and detractors alike could have all been avoided. This is all one sentence, by the way. Could have all been avoided if you stick to what you're good at, like, I don't know, maybe video game talk, just a suggestion from an outsider. So I'm going to read this again. Mr. Crash Bandicoot, Phil, I sometimes often wondered you ask for it sometimes. That take you had in organic food yesterday has caused outrage between your fans and detractors alike could have all been avoided if you stick to what you're good at. Oh, I don't know, maybe video game talk, just a suggestion from an outsider. To clarify, yesterday on my React show, I watched a video from a doctor discussing GMOs and the difference between GMOs and organic food. And the discussion is that there's nothing wrong with GMOs. There's no scientific evidence to say that GMOs are worse. In fact, actually, GMOs have less pesticides on them than organic foods usually. Okay? There's no proof that there's increased nutritional value in GMO or non-GMO food at all. They're the same. So it's a myth. Like, literally, the entire video is debunking the myth of GMO hatred and fear that a lot of celebrities and pseudo-scientists on the internet seem to have for no good reason, personal gain, because probably getting kickback from those organic companies and stuff like that. So that's all it was. I have no idea what this person is talking about. So my take has outrage between my fans and detractors alike. First of all, I have heard no outrage because it was a React show, right? It was a set to that show. You're right, my main subject matter is not that kind of content, but when I get those videos submitted, I absolutely will watch and react to them. And I literally just reacted to the facts presented in the video. So what you're saying is, I caused outrage by speaking factually to a video. Well, then maybe people who are outraged are fucking stupid. Did you ever think about that? If you're outraged because someone presented scientific facts to you, and you don't agree with the facts, that makes you stupid. You get that, right? All the things that we saw in that video were truthful. There's nothing wrong with GMOs. Organic foods are not any better than non-organic foods. There's no scientific evidence to say that or prove that. Literally tons of scientists have weighed in on the subject and said as much. So unless you're going to present scientific evidence to disprove tons of scientists, you're an idiot. Really want to follow Gwyneth Paltrow, okay, and believe what she has to say about life? I mean, go right ahead. You have the ability to do that if you like. If you want to go with those group of people, if you think they're going to lead you on the way to success and health and prosperity and happiness, you're well to do that. You can follow whoever you want, okay? Right? So, what's hilarious is Selling Indulgences just said, DSP is so sure on this, he takes a shot of Roundup with dinners every day. What are you talking about? Did you not hear what I just said? GMO crops frequently have less pesticides on them than organic crops. Yes, this is true. GMO crops are genetically modified so that bugs will not attack them. So what are you talking about? You're an idiot. Again, you're an idiot. You are literally spreading conspiracy theory stuff when you say shit like that. You're nuts.
So if anyone is new to the DSP verse, what Phil does here is he'll create his own narrative, thinking he has the biggest brain out there, and he'll search the internet for anything that proves him right. Doesn't matter all the other evidence, doesn't matter all the other stuff, only what fits his narrative. Then he watches the video and goes, see, I was right, you're all wrong, I was right, duh. Then we get to DSP throwback for his finale, thank God, on The Walking Dead React, ack. We have John Riley. Well, of course, DSP, roaches can survive a nuclear blast. Doesn't mean the detractors can't make your life a living hell. So remember earlier when that person did the member bomb saying he spent $2,000 on WWE Champions on DSP Reacts? He also did on Throwback. And this is DSP's response to it. Allow me to clarify to all the insane people reading this. There is absolutely nothing you can do to me to hurt me. I will be here regardless of your efforts. I will outlive you, and you will continue to be a waste of human life. He thinks he's going to outlive detractors. Now, Phil, what you don't realize is you can't outlive an ideology. Because there's not just one person or a group that are detractors. As long as you are on the internet, there will always be people to point out how much of a scumbag you are, how slimy you are, how scummy you are. And that's the ideology of being a detractor. Because individual detractors may come and go. There's always going to be new ones around the corner. So face it, Phil, when the moment comes when you're off the internet or passed away, the detractors will live on. And the only memory of you will be, oh, the camera's on. Camera's been on the whole time, huh? I didn't even know. Hello. I also want to point out that he also said he's going to outlive detractors. Phil, based on your lifestyle, what you eat, lack of exercise, you're probably going to be gone within 10 years anyways. Then we have this from Poems Future, who points out that someone is viewbotting DSP Throwback to get him to the algorithm. And all of a sudden he has new eyes on him. Of course it won't work. Within 5 seconds of people seeing him beg for money, they're going to turn the video off. Poems Future, exactly 45 minutes from beginning to end. This looks like someone's trying to push him up in live results by tricking the algorithm. Then one of the dents asked him, how do I upgrade my gifted membership so I can start suggesting videos for DSP Reacts? And DSP told them, create a new account and then buy a membership. That is right, he now wants people who get gifted memberships to create a second account and buy a brand new membership. Then DSP said one of the dumbest things ever, even for him. According to DSP, until the Walking Dead Telltale series, video games didn't have dark endings. It was the first one. Then DSP, showing that he still misses his one and true love, the one that got away, John Rambo. Dick Stroke and Phil Vlogs. DSP watches his own Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games 2012 playthrough when he feels down to cheer himself up. Otter adds on to that, watches his good times with Rambo videos to cheer himself up. Then, throughout the whole playthrough, throughout this whole stream, DSP hyped it up that this is a playthrough that made him cry like a baby, made him bawl his eyes out, and hyped it up as the first game that ever emotionally changed him. And Poems put, DSP hyped up the fact that he'll be reacting to the first time he bawled like a baby over a game last week when talking about the end of his Walking Dead React tonight. In actuality, it was a single sniffle and it was over. Then DSP put up a poll to see what the next React event was, and he put out, heads up everyone, we finished the Walking Dead Season 1, and now it's time to determine the next Retro React event. The winner of this poll will begin as night streams. And we have continuation of Dark Souls 1, Metal Gear Solid 1 original PS1 run, God of War 3 original PS3 run. Now, everyone thinks that's the one where he talked about sexually assaulting women and joking about it and laughing and singing a song about it and doing things against their will. It was actually the original God of War PS2 that he did it on, not God of War 3. Then, of course, the final choice that could remind him of Rambo, Mario and Sonic at the 2012 London Olympic Games. And even modern Phil is confused about drunk older Phil. Young Phil confuses old Phil with a joke.
Well, if any zombie tries to bite her now, he must be a homo eticus.
Stay right next to me.
Meaning he eats himself.
Slowly.
Oh, really? Is that what that means?
And don't pass.
We got poems. Guy who would stay up all night, drunk, playing video games and screaming at his TV, calls his old neighbor a loser for drinking in the morning while talking on the phone.
I'm not like you. You walked a little girl into a dairy full of sick people and let them get their hands on her.
If you're wondering what that background noise is, that's not here. That's in 2012. That was my old asshole next door neighbor. He would get up in the morning, and sometimes he'd drink on his back porch, smoking cigarettes, talking loudly on a cell phone. And that's what you would hear. I would hear all his fucking life shit. Because his dunce was sitting on his back porch talking so loudly. That's me with the door closed, trying to do this playthrough, and this is what you hear in my fucking living room. This piece of shit next door. I'm so glad I don't have to put up with that kind of shit anymore. Fucking loser.
Then finally we get to the daily wrap. Duty puts this out. Little nugget from last night's daily wrap that may need some psychological style unpacking.
Last but not least, a playthrough that personally has meaning for me. It is such a positive, fun playthrough. This is one that I literally go back to and watch myself when I need to cheer myself up from time to time. Mario and Sonic at the 2012 London Olympics. Co-op between myself, John Rambo, and Joe. Amazing playthrough with tons of comedy. So, if you have a hard decision ahead, I don't blame you. How do you vote? Please go to the DSP Throwback channel, which is youtube.com/@DSP Throwback. Yes, that link works again. Please go to the community tab, and it will be the main post there. Please vote. You can only vote for one. Whatever you vote for will be the Retro React stream next Sunday night, and if it works, we'll continue. If not, if it's kind of what happened with Bully or whatever, then we could just do another vote the next week to do a different one. Okay? Guys, thank you all. An amazing streaming day. I had tons of fun with the React stuff. Tomorrow, we get back to gameplay with a fun level 1 podcast in the morning on DSP Gaming right here. And then the continuation of another Crab's Treasure. Really cool because now we have the ability to control an electric eel that will allow us to shock these crab statues, and that will move things in the environment.
So that was quite the memorable Mother's Day for DSP. And I hope you guys like that. Click that like, share the video, leave a comment below, hit subscribe my other channels on the details of the end cards. And as always, I love each and every one of you. Hope you're all safe, healthy, and happy. Peace and love.